It's been a rather volatile few years here in the Pacific region, but it's all come to an end with the Suva agreement now being endorsed as part of the main outcomes of this Pacific Islands Forum Special Leaders Retreat. To put it in the words of President of the Federated States of Micronesia, we are never to be fractured again. These leaders, all 18 of them, are insisting that the Pacific region is now united.
So as far as the unity goes, it's there, but what's now needed to implement the Suva agreement?
Grish, the Suva agreement made a year ago in Suva in an effort to bring back to the Pacific Islands Vuvale, the Pacific Islands family, that is, the members of the Micronesian states. The Micronesian Presidential Summit had a few years prior threatened to leave the Pacific Islands Forum for a range of reasons, but all of them stemming from the selection of the current Secretary General Henry Puna to lead the work of the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat. It led to several more issues and events centered around a feeling of disrespect that the Micronesian states felt. The Suva agreement lists a number of offerings. Some of them include the selection of a Micronesian candidate to the next post, and that is now, of course, the former president of Nauru, Baron Waqa, the creation, or rather the opening of a sub-regional office for the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat, as well as the establishment of the Pacific Oceans Commissioner's Office in the Republic of Palau, headed, of course, as well by a Micronesian candidate who is currently a member of the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat's high management. So it's a long range of offerings and a long range of goodies, so to speak, that has, in fact, brought back all of the members of the Micronesian bloc of the Pacific Islands Vuvale to the family. We do know, of course, that the Suva agreement is not cheap, and that bill will be picked up by the governments of New Zealand and Australia.
On another matter, Japan's plans to release treated water from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the sea, that's been a major concern by several Pacific nations. Was that discussed at the forum?
Grish, it was most definitely discussed, but it was discussed behind closed doors and not for members of the media or the public gathered here on Nauru to be able to hear. What we have been told by our leaders is that they are united in a renewed call to the government of Japan that the Pacific still wants to be consulted and still wants more information with regards to just how harmful or not that water is in Japan. We do know, however, that those heads of governments, 3 in total, who did visit Japan earlier this month, have come back and was able to see a renewed commitment as well from the government of Japan to continue to consult the other members of the Pacific Rim, and that is the Pacific Vuvale.
Of course, with the forum of several Pacific nations and Australia and New Zealand, China is always a major issue there and its influence in the Pacific Islands. What was discussed in terms of Beijing's influence in that region, considering that security pact that was signed with Solomon Islands?
Grish, the strongest message coming out of the Pacific Islands Forum leaders, per se, with regards to China, is that never again will the members of the Pacific Islands Forum negotiate pacts with other countries on its own. They are always going to work together as part of the 2050 strategy, and that is speaking as a bloc and working as a bloc when they're dealing with countries or parties outside of the Pacific region. However, it must be noted that the candidate now endorsed by the Pacific Islands Forum leaders, as announced as part of the outcomes document today, is Baron Waqa, the former president of Nauru, a well-known opponent of Chinese influence in the Pacific region. So it must be noted that that will, of course, influence the way the Pacific Islands Forum works in the future. It's important as well to note that the new special envoy from the United States to the Pacific Islands Forum program was present on Nauru during the Special Leaders Retreat. We were told that dialogue partners, which are, of course, people who are not members of the Pacific Islands Forum, were not part of the formal program, but both the United States ambassador and the new special envoy to the PIF from Washington was present on Nauru. It must be noted, too, that a very important part of the outcomes document presented today includes the announcement of a new Pacific Islands Forum special envoy to Washington.
Okay, Lice Movono in Suva, thanks very much.
Vinaka.